You're listening to CRV Ambreed's Better Heard podcast, brought to you in partnership with the New Zealand Dairy Exporter. Join us as we talk to CRV Ambreed experts, industry leaders and farmers about hot topics and issues affecting herd improvement in New Zealand's dairy industry today. Keep current with industry news and get practical tips for improving the health and efficiency of your herd. Welcome to part 2 of CRV's Better Heard podcast. Join our host Sheryl Haitana as she continues her chat with CRV's John Lee and Peter van Elzakker about the company's latest herd solutions catalogue.
For farmers that are concerned with inbreeding, what outcross opportunities does this bull portfolio offer, Peter?
More outcross opportunities. It is a focus for us as a business. The market research that we do on a regular basis actually has shown that for farmers, outcross or inbreeding is a major point. So we have a number of Frisian graduates that have no mint addition or forens on the sire side and on the maternal side. And Lennon, who I already mentioned before, but also a bull called McLaren, are two graduates that are outcross in that respect and can use without any concerns. We also have our insires, our genomic bulls that we have in a catalogue, and they are becoming more popular. And also there we have a number of bulls without the mint edition forens influence, and bulls like Artwork, Roadster, Chuck, Goldfield and Amaret are just a few of them. In the jerseys, the inbreeding and the outcross is probably even more of an issue. And we've had a lot of genetics used like Murmur, Kingpin or Degree. And again, we're really pleased with the number of outcross jersey bulls that have graduated this year. A bull called Lancer, Marcus, Omega and Champ are 4 graduates that offer that outcross opportunity. And outside that, we also offer what we call global genetics. That's Frisian and Jersey genetics from the US, Holland, and Australia. And those genetics are complete outcross to the New Zealand genetics population.
So in terms of the global genetics, Peter, how can farmers compare those bulls with New Zealand bulls in terms of NZMI?
Yeah, good question. There's 2 ways really to do that. I guess the first way is through our Better Life Health and Efficiency Indexes. We don't only produce them for our grazing product, but also for our global product. That's really what connects the breeding programs that CFE runs internationally. So if a farmer wants to use health-focused genetics, they can use grazing genetics with that focus, but they can also select any global Jersey or Frisian bulls based on their health, Better Life Health indexes. The other way to do it is to basically look at the converted breeding values. So the overseas breeding values are converted into New Zealand breeding values, and through that we calculate an NZMI. So our people have that information, and that's the 2 ways to compare the global genetics with New Zealand proven genetics.
So we've talked about New Zealand farmers having access to global genetics. Are many overseas farmers trying to buy our New Zealand genetics from here?
That's a good question. And yes, we've seen the interest for our grazing genetics grow over the last 5 to 10 years. It's like John said, it's back to the future. There's a lot of talk about environmentally responsible farming systems. The term circular farming is being brandished over there and over here too. And yeah, grazing is something that in Europe, in South America, even in the US is talked about more and more. And surprise, surprise, we have a product that excels in those circumstances. So we expect the demand for our product to actually grow going forward.
So in our last podcast, John, you and I and Brian spoke about the animal evaluation changes that have happened earlier this year. How have those changes affected the 2020 catalogue offering?
The main change is that we have a different model. It's more accurate. There has been a re-ranking of bulls. And we basically picked a portfolio based on the various rankings, and we rank different traits. And therefore there are some new graduates that might not have been selected without the changes. And there's also some bulls that were used in the past that did change because of the improvements, and therefore they don't look as prominent. But actually, as CRV breed, and you can call it luck, or you can just call it good management. But we had quite a number of bulls that went up significantly, and that's always pleasing to see. And the number one bull, Connacht, for instance, he was there last year, but he really showed quite a bit of improvement and is number one now. So we're happy to take that.
Absolutely, I'm sure you are. So, John, CRV has traditionally appealed to farmers who like to select their own bull teams. What can CRV offer farmers who are happy to have their breeding company select a bull team for them?
Yep, we talked earlier about that product, Automate, and that is a product that has been designed for farmers that are really focused in on that team approach, and they're really keen to see the growth of the index in their herd whilst looking after those base traits. So we have that. But I guess the other thing to note as well is that we have very skilled field reps out there who have a real passion for seeing farmers improve their herds. And so, a typical conversation for one of our field reps would be to understand what a farmer likes or dislikes in their herd. One of our really well-known traits is that we walk the herd with the farmer and they can point out to us what it is that they like or dislike. And then we heavily train our people in the field to be able to work with them. Peter and his team do a great deal of work with our sales force to be able to help them work through with the farmer what traits they would like in their herd to improve, and we have some software in the background that they can work with as well. So not only do we have Automate, but we have a very skilled sales force out there to help the farmers through those decisions.
So a bit of a tough question for you, John. We're week 1 at the moment in isolation, and this podcast will come out in a couple of weeks. What are CRV working on at the moment in terms of all your reps out there and how they are communicating with their farmers in terms of the bull catalogue? What can farmers expect from CRV?
Yeah, look, it's a great question. And I can tell you that the last week has seemed like a month for a lot of us. There's been a lot of changes, a lot of uncertainty. But what I can tell you is that we still have a very informed and motivated sales force who are locked down in their homes, as we all are right now. The great thing is for our long-standing customers, our people already know what's important to them. They've worked with them for years and years. And in most cases, there's real friendships there as opposed to just a business relationship. So they're very confident that they are working with the farmers to deliver what they've always done. For our newer customers, it's about touching base, whether it be by phone call or by a Skype meeting like we're doing now, and then just working through what it is that we have to offer. Look, I mentioned just before that we walk the herd. We don't get the opportunity to do that. However, it's not to say that we can't give that a crack either. I mean, with technology that we have today, the farmer can walk through his herd and show the cows. And so we're just in that process right now, Sheryl, of understanding how we can use technology to better service our farmers. But at the moment, our guys are pretty upbeat. They're getting their head around some of the newer software upgrades that we've just done. I guess one of our biggest challenges right now as we speak on the 27th is that getting our catalogues out to farms has been a real challenge because, the printers have to prove themselves that they are supporting essential businesses. And so until they can do that, some of our catalogues are still sitting in warehouses, and that can be a frustration not only for our farmers but for our staff. And so the other thing, Sheryl, is that our catalogue, in fact all of our catalogues, we have 3 of them, are available online to farmers. So that's a great thing about technology.
I just had this thought, John, when it comes to herd walks, etc. Yes, a farmer can walk through his herd in FaceTime with a rep or video. Another thing a farmer could do is take a photo of his favorite cow, send it to the rep and say, I want another 100 like this, or 200 or whatever many.
Yeah.
And put the challenge out to the rep to create a team that will deliver that. And with the skill set that our reps have, they can do that, no doubt.
Yeah.
They should be able to make that happen.
Yeah.
No, it's pretty good to know that you've got that technology now to fall back on to communicate with your farmers.
And now, a quick word from our sponsor. If you're keen to save money on ear tags this season, we recommend you take advantage of CRV's early bird offer. It's possibly the best on the market. You can save up to 10% on ear tags simply by contacting your local CRV Ambreed field consultant by the end of April and ordering a combination of genetics, Estrotect and ear tag products. Plus, all early bird orders will go in the draw to win an Air New Zealand Deluxe Mystery Break for 2. Once we can travel again, there will be no better time to explore our own backyard. Orders must be placed before the 30th of April 2020. Ask your CRV field consultant for more information and full terms and conditions. Now back to the show.
So the other technology that we can talk about today, John, is the launch of MyHerd, which is CRV's new herd recording and management tool, which you are launching in June. So I believe some of your farmers have been testing it out. How's that been going and what sort of feedback have you been getting?
We want it now, is what the feedback we've been getting, quite frankly. So the farmers that have been using it are wrapped with it. It's something that they've been waiting for a while with us. And we're really excited about that. It's basically what we're saying to farmers. It's giving you choice now in the marketplace. And so farmers are loving the graphics that are coming out in it. They're loving the information that's helping them to make better decisions within their herd. And things have been going along really, really well with the development of that. We've done a soft launch at some of the field days that we were able to attend before everything sort of got locked down. And my goodness, the feedback was exceptional. In our Southland event, we had farmers coming in with the flyers saying, sign me up, when can I have it? So, that's great. But as is with all software, Sheryl, when we do launch this in June, we want to take a real, I guess you could say, conservative approach, because as is with all software, there is bugs and stuff that you may have to iron out. We'll go through that process pretty much from now and through until June, but we'll just do a slow release and work with some of those customers that have been asking for it in the pre-registration. So that's exciting for us. It's giving a lot more accuracy to some of the data that farmers might already have. Yeah.
Can you give us an example of what's maybe there for farmers that they haven't maybe had before in terms of what they're getting excited about in the tool?
As you know, MyHerd is on the Farm IQ platform, and already we're seeing a great interest in that from farmers, because that platform is one that integrates with many others. And so not only are we seeing an interest from farmers here about the value that will bring to their business, meaning they can have a lot of data in one place, but we're also seeing lots of interest from third parties that sell products and to farmers that they're already using on farms, saying we'd love to be able to integrate them with that. And a farmer can see a lot of that data collected with their different widgets they purchase from third parties in one space. And so that's one of the key values. I guess also too, at the moment, we have a product called a Portable, and that's one that our AI technicians and our DIY farmers use. That product effectively would be null and void with MyHerd, because what you will see is that will be taken up within the MyHerd capability as well. So yeah, and as we go through this process of launching it, we're more than open to farmers coming to us and saying, look, I'd really love to see this in there, or this might add value to my business if I could have this. So we're ready for that type of feedback as well.
No, that's great. Thanks, John. So we've touched on how you guys are working through your response to COVID-19 at the moment. Farmers are coming out of a drought in many regions around New Zealand. There's a lot of pressures on the market at the moment and a lot of uncertainty out there. What's CRV's take on the season ahead?
Oh, good question. I mean, as we talk here in the Waikato, we've had substantial rain in the last week, so things are starting to green up, which is good. Is it a little bit too late for the North Island? Yeah, probably. We've seen some farmers that have already been through a process of drying off or in the process of once a day. The great thing about this rain is that it's actually helped bridge a gap between now and dry off, so there'll be some farmers that'll be really rapt about it. But in general, though, I think farmers, this is not their first rodeo. I mean, they have farmed through many different seasons, and they've had droughts and they've had wet weather. And so what we're finding today is through things like MyHerd, actually, and through good feed budgeting processes, farmers are a lot better prepared for these types of challenges as they come our way. And so, we're seeing that farmers are handling this in their stride.
I would actually think that farmers are better equipped than the average townie or New Zealander. Farmers are rolling with the punches, and it's like John said, it's not the first rodeo where the average New Zealander is not as accustomed to change. So I think there's outside the agricultural industry, it's maybe a bit harder to deal with. So yeah, from our perspective, we are positive about the opportunities for dairying. When you look at the milk price is good at the moment. The outlook for dairy products is still strong. You look at some other countries around the world, the uptake for milk consumption has actually increased. The Chinese are saying drink more milk because it helps fight the fight. So that's music to all dairy farmers' ears and our ears. So yeah, we're positive. I think the number one priority, and I think for everyone, is that employs staff is to look after the staff and look after our customers. We just hope that they are all safe and comfortable. That's when we're also, and our people are talking to the customers. The first question is are you ready to talk? Are you comfortable? Can we help you? That's what we're there for. And then we talk about the other aspects. And that's, I think, in these times, we find it being stuck at home is that communication is extremely important at these times. And just having a chat, a yarn is important. And that doesn't necessarily have to be about work. It can be about the social things. And I think we all get much better at having a beer together with a screen in between us and talk about the better things in life.
Thanks to Peter and John for joining me today on the Better Heard podcast.
Great. Thanks, Sheryl. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, Sheryl.
Thanks for listening to CRV Ambreed's Better Heard podcast. Read more about today's topic and our panel guests by visiting CRV Ambreed's website, www.crv4all, that's the number 4all.co.nz, or follow us on Facebook, Instagram or Twitter. Check out our upcoming topics and join us again soon for your Better Heard fix.